Hey everyone, it's the Sith Justice Warriors coming at you with another Sunday Funday with your host, Jaded Fan and Princess Olympia.
Hello, we made it through another week, and it's March now, actually. So
Yeah,
yeah,
actually, pretty much. Yeah,
I
jeez.
feel like basically it's been a year since COVID almost. It's like crazy, isn't it? We've managed
Survived.
a year away from this pandemic, and we still are here. Yay! I say
Hopefully,
that only because you know I saw a I'm actually surprised that Raya and the Last Dragon was released this year. It was supposed to be released last year, around the holiday season. They actually have a release date for it. They said come back to the movie, like not come back, but they're like, um, you know, basically come back to the movie theaters, you know, and apparently it's like one of the first movies back in the movie theaters. So, or at
do you
least Disney is saying that, but they're also releasing it on Disney Plus. So,
do you want
anyway,
to bet actually that with Disney, why the theaters are not complaining about Disney doing their direct to stream versus like HBO Max and stuff is
why
because
is that?
my theory is number one, they have the biggest portfolio, so they have the Marvel movies and such. And the other theory that I have is that they don't like they're willing to put them in the theaters, but because they have the streaming service, they actually cut more of the margins away from the movie theaters. That's my thought. Like I
Yeah,
feel why would the movie theaters pound their chest about banning Universal, threatening HBO Max and Warner Brothers and all that, but they didn't say boo about Disney. That's my theory, but I
that's an
digress.
interesting concept that we need to explore at some point because you're right. I mean, why did they like why aren't they bitching about it? But I think also because Disney is I don't know, I want to say they're choosing what to release and they haven't said everything's going to be on streaming to your point. It's going to be in the theaters, So because Black Widow is still really slated for release in May.
But
So
they're doing it as simultaneous launch, are they not?
exactly. So but they're still putting it in the theaters. So
And Warner Brothers did the same with Wonder Woman 84, but they really made this big stink about, oh, had I known they were affecting theaters, but not a peep about Disney doing it.
yeah, which is
So this is a thought. We'll have to explore that, but I had to go digress. But uh, how I think we should just jump into our typical topic, which is Disney's streaming service,
yeah,
particularly that WandaVision. Look at
yeah,
take it.
yeah. So again, we'll be hitting some spoiler territory for the next maybe 10 to 15 minutes, but if you haven't seen it, just fast forward. To be honest with you, like this is the second to the last episode, so it was good to finally see the culmination of it. I will say it was a slow burn, and I guess this episode it was really actually well done in my opinion. Like, you have to tell the story this way for it to be impactful. Like you couldn't start off like you find out basically what happened to the lead up to this moment of time where Westview is kind of trapped under this hex bubble, if you will. Um, and so it really deals with the grief, with everything Wanda's been through and what shaped her as a person. Agatha, you find out, basically is really just interested in the power. You kind of get a glimpse of her in the beginning of it, like where she was a witch, part of a coven, but she was learning some dark arts on the side. And she basically wiped out the coven, and has lived this long since the Salem Puritan times, if you will. And she wants the power for herself. So her whole goal in this episode, I can't say for the whole series, but her goal for this episode was really to understand how Wanda was able to control all these people to do her bidding. Because at the end of the day, that's what Agatha wants. She wants that power. You get a sense of. So she's got Wanda trapped under, under the assumption that she's got her kid held captive. Um, but basically she walks through Wanda's past from the beginning of where, the bomb, the missile that was from Stark Industries killed their parents. You kind of get a sense of where her love for television came from. During all these key moments, she was watching TV. So she was watching the what was it? Not Leave It to Beaver, but like the Dick
Van
Van
Dyke
Dyke
Show.
Show. Yeah, so like she was watching that when the missile hit, and you can tell her powers first manifested. So there's a hidden assumption here that she was born with powers, not necessarily that the Mind Stone gave her powers. So you flash forward, and she's part of the experiments um that they were doing with Hydra on individuals with the Mind Stone. And she actually was one of the few, I guess her and her brother, because they don't really allude to him, but at least for her, she survived being in the same room with the Mind Stone because typically people died. Um, what is interesting is we were always led to believe the Mind Stone gave her powers, but it seems like she always had the powers. It was just further, I guess, amplified because she saw a vision of herself in the Scarlet Witch wardrobe. And a lot of people on the internet are really reading, I think they're reading a little bit into it, but if you look at the stills that are circulating online, they think there's a man where her legs are. Like there's a
Oh,
formation of a man. Like
sorry, which scene again was that?
so you know how she touches the Mind Stone
Yeah,
and she sees a vision of herself like in flames, like
in
and
that
she
Scarlet Witch uniform.
yes, and in between where her legs would be is a man, this image of a man. This is where Twitter is going wild, okay? And I think personally, I think they're reading into this because everyone wants Mephisto to be part of this, but I think they're reading into this.
That's like having Reed Richards and getting
But
some.
take a look at the image. You will see it, but I also feel like it's already imprinted because when someone tells you there's an image of a man and shows you a picture versus saying, "Do you see anything in this image?" Like there's two different outcomes of that. Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, take a look at it when you get a chance. If not, I'll send you the link. But like basically, she sees this vision of herself. At the end of the day, you find out that, you know, throughout going through her past experiences, she just wanted to bury Vision. That was the only thing she ever wanted because she's his next of kin. And this is like right after the whole Avengers movie. Everyone got snapped back into place. She's at Sword and she's asking the director to give her his body, and you see them tearing his body apart. It was actually very emotional for me because all she really wanted was to bury him, and the guy was like, we can't hand you over $3 billion worth of a weaponized machine built of vibranium. Like, and it was just like, and she just like she was trying to find him, how she could feel like him in there and she couldn't. So she left. So the reality is whatever doctored video that guy showed her stealing the body, it never happened. So she
Right.
leaves, she drives away, and there's a piece of paper next to her in the passenger seat. She's driving through Westview, and you see Westview as it is today, which is, I hate to say it, like a shitty, it's like a shitty town. Like, it's a town that probably was nice in its heyday, but like there's boarded up stores, there's like it's just like a ruggedy old town like that like needs some help. Like it literally felt that way for me.
I think
And
that's depressed. That's what they like to call it.
yeah, it's like the place where they meet, the middle, like where the big like pergola or whatever, the scene where they had the magic show in one of the episodes, like it was boarded up. So like everything there is not the way it is in her perfect little world that she created after she took control of it. But she's driving through there and stops at, I guess, what would have been the house that she lives in, and she it's not built yet, and she just opens the piece of paper and it's, to grow old and love V. So Vision left her the deed to a house he bought for them with the intent that they would settle down at some point and be together. And I actually got so emotional because it was so sad. It was just like all this time, like that's why, I could understand her grief in that moment created everything from that point of time. Like literally it created a house, it created Vision, it created her life, and she just walked into it and just, expected it. Not expected it, accepted it. And so that's kind of where we leave everything. We don't know what happened to Monica. We don't know what happened to Jimmy and Darcy and the other Vision. We just know that this is how it all began. And if they started this show with that moment, it wouldn't have the same impact, I feel like, had they done it this way. So I get why the slow burn, but maybe 2 episodes and then this, but they waited till the second to the last episode. That's my only gripe to get to this point. And I personally think that whatever we resolve here, there'll still be unanswered questions that perhaps may be rolled into the Doctor Strange multiverse, because multiverse movie which is out in 2022. So I believe that we won't have all the answers, but whatever they need to resolve here will be resolved, is my feeling. If not, then it's something else. But either way, this was kind of like the jumping board of introducing and reintroducing something. So introducing Sword, introducing Monica for Captain Marvel 2, introducing Agatha, introducing this whole concept of witchcraft. Because I guess, so if you stayed for the end, like if you look at the end scenes basically, or towards the ending, that's where she gets her moniker, because basically Agatha said, I know what you are now. You're the Scarlet Witch. And she basically defines her magic as chaos magic. So we leave it there. They don't necessarily say she's a mutant, but we know she was born with the powers. So technically she's a witch. She was a witch in the comic books. So it's quite believable. So anyway, there were a lot of allusions and things like that to, like, I don't want to even drill into that one about there being a man in between her legs. Like that was interesting to me. But yeah, Fan, you're the most critical of this show, so I wanted to get your thought.
It's funny because I was thinking about how you were saying there's a slow burn, and there were moments that there were a slow burn in terms of that I think we can agree on. I just find it funny that, like, let's say the first 5 minutes was Agatha's backstory, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually felt that that was a slow burn, but then when I was done with it, I was like, oh, okay, we're done. This is fair. Okay, it's like, saying you got bit by a spider and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the weird thing I find about this show is that outside of like the first 2 episodes, maybe that it feels like a slow burn in the moment. Then when you get past the hurdle, you just say it's not that bad. So it's like bad tasting medicine. You have to take it. It sucks while you take it, but it's not that bad when it's over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's actually a good thing, but I think that was the one thing I have to give. I have to give these showrunners that they're able to make me still hang on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that I'm struggling with is that I okay, we've
And I forgot to mention something you just made me. If you wait for the end of this episode, because it's not consistent. Sorry to interrupt you, but I forgot to mention. You find out that that guy, the director, has been secretly keeping Vision's body because he needed to weaponize him. He wanted to bring him back to life, and what he used was the magical residue on the drone that was in Westview that they took back, and now we have White Vision.
or
Anyway,
cataract.
or Cataract, yeah, Project Cataract. Anyway, go ahead.
Shoot, my
I'm sorry.
what was I talking about? 'Cause I talked about the
You were talking about the slow burn, and like, you give them credit though. Like there were moments that are slow burn and you get it and it's enough. And then there are moments where it's like, okay. But
Oh yeah, the next part was the struggle, which is uh, I really want them to be mutants, and that's my bias. And okay, the Mind Stone unlocked her ability, but the Mind Stone did not kill Pietro. So the question is that did the Mind Stone simply just unlock their genetic powers? I want to believe it. The idea that Pietro is not Pietro, or in other words, the actor is not the MCU, the X Men version, makes me sad, and I'm struggling to just. I'm doing some copium here, and I'm just trying to find a way to make it still what I want it to be. So that's something I personally need to adjust, but it's the one thing that I keep holding on to.
yeah.
The other thing is that I realized that maybe what her attraction to Vision, which led to their romance, is
Hmm.
that the Mind Stone. That is what Vision had. Am I
They
correct?
had a connection. It had a connection with her. Yeah.
Yeah, it came to my attention that yeah, this was the Mind Stone. Therefore, it makes sense that there's a bond, and obviously led to this the romance that it was. But it actually just dawned on me, like it didn't dawn on me until this episode, which was kind of it had its purpose. I think I'm not convinced Agatha is this all powerful being to that needs the Avengers to take on, which is fine. I think she's probably a singular villain that only a singular superhero needs to deal with.
Hmm.
But I think the cataract vision thing, I'm getting vibes of here we go with the Spider-Man 3. Every third Spider-Man is like 10 villains that he's got to fight.
Oh gosh.
I think what's probably going to happen is that Vision's going to remember who he is, or may not. Actually, may not, because the stone is gone, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's based on the comics, The White Vision, and he basically was a version of Vision that had no empathy, like basically was didn't have the powers, like didn't have the Mind Stone, but he lacked the empathy that Vision had, the like the humanness of Vision, if you will. So so yeah, I mean there is some linkage to like comic sources um in that sense. But yeah.
I have a controversial view too. As I don't, I mean, obviously you don't like a guy making weapons, I guess, but his logic was not like the director. It's not wrong in a sense that if she buries Vision, someone could dig up his grave, take the vibranium, sell it for vibranium, or if you're the remnants of Hydra, you would actually just try to piece together Vision anyway.
Yeah.
I logically speaking, he's right, and I give him that he allowed her to say goodbye. So there was the question is what is with this doctored video? Because it's clear he doctored the video of her stealing it. She never
Mm-hmm.
stole the body.
Yep. Which is interesting because he the whole time he was basically saying she stole the body. But that vision she created, like literally from scratch, like from whatever magic she wields, is how what she created.
She could
So
have the residues of the Mind Stone because
yeah,
when it sucked out of her was yellow. It could be. I
tricky.
mean, again, it sucks because I'm so used to this mutant version that I know they retcon it and then retcon it back or some weird
Yeah,
stuff.
they retconned it so many times in the print. So honestly, yeah, like there is an image of a man in there. Oh my God, I gotta send it to you. Like as I look at it. But yeah, I mean, they retcon so much like that. I don't even in the MCU. I guess I have to throw out the print and
Yeah,
say it's source material but
Uh,
it doesn't necessarily need to be like the end all be all Bible of it, if you will. Like, I mean, to me, though, there are some things that have to stay consistent. Like, for example, the Dark Phoenix and Jean Grey, that saga. Like, if they made it someone else, I would be upset. Like if they made it, oh my God, Jennifer Lawrence's character be the Dark Phoenix, like I would be really pissed because it's always been Jean. So, I mean, there are other things the entity has taken over, but that saga has always been Jean. So, like, that's why I'm like, there are some things that I think truly need to stay part of canon in the MCU, but to me, yes, you can take some liberties on the way they want to introduce mutants. I feel like Disney, Disney Marvel does a good thing about hinting and throwing you off course. So we'll have to see because they're very good at that. Like they're very good at throwing red herrings, but they're also very good about um like following through on some of the hints. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this has been in the that whole Avengers thing has been in the works for how long? Like, and they had to go through Iron Man and like multiple iterations of the Hulk, like just to get there. So like they do deliver the hints that the subtle hints that they promise. It's just a matter of how, you know. Everyone knows there's a Fantastic Four movie that's happening. They just don't know who and when. You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress.
yeah, I mean, I'm just
So did
reading
you
this article.
see? So did you see the picture of the man? It
Stretch. It's a stretch, to be honest. It
is
could
a
be
stretch because
great.
you could say it's her feet, but like
It could be the dress.
that's what I was saying. At first, I thought it was the dress and that it was her feet, but now that people say it was a man, it could be a man in there. I'm like, well, that's a pretty interesting place to put a man, but whatever.
Well, I mean, okay, so they're saying that the 2016 Scarlet Witch, they took out the Magneto part. She just always was. Her mom was the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about the picture, the image. It's really the image of like there's a man in between.
That's just lighting.
I agree.
That's just lighting. It just
I hope it
they
is.
did. They were these people. Was this the people that told you about Reed Richards? I
No, no, I just sent you this article because it had a picture of it, and the article was from I think CBR or Screen Rant, but it's talking about the episode. But it more or less, I'm just referring to the picture because the picture is what a lot of people on Twitter were like, "Oh my God, is that Mephisto?"
no, no,
I'm
no.
like,
No. We gotta find whoever article told you Reed Richards. We gotta give them the L. I'm not letting that go because it's
"Oh
like
my God."
the big lead up where Monica's like, oh, there's gonna be this really cool kick ass aerospace engineer as some random nobody. I'm sorry, maybe she's somebody, but it was nobody to my humble opinion. But whatever.
I think everyone wanted it to be Reed Richards. Forbes actually was one of them that said WandaVision is probably going to introduce Reed Richards.
There you go, Forbes. They need to stick to business articles? Like, I appreciate their Destiny guy, Paul Tassi, but come on, stick to
Did
your
you know best?
stick to what you're good at. Did please make some rich people money. If you can make me rich too, please, I'd love to join the club. But come on, man. Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I think my thoughts are we're gonna definitely. I mean, I don't know how long this next episode is gonna be, but I feel like it's gonna be Fast and Furious because hey, she's gonna have to take on this Agatha person and push her aside to deal with the bigger problem. And the bigger problem is this guy, the director of Sword, and this White Vision. Because, and I don't know how long that's gonna take to deal with. So either way, it's gonna have to wrap up in 40 some minutes. I don't know if they can do it, but hey, I mean, it's just interesting because The Mandalorian took like 2 hours, or 1 hour and 30 minutes, and they're trying to wrap
Wait,
it up in,
that episode took that long?
I don't know. I gotta go fact check myself, but that was one of the longest episodes.
Really? Because that it we but okay, you wait an hour and a half, two, but the best part was like 2 minutes at the end.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, it was.
That Kathleen Kennedy just squandered by getting rid of a popular character. By the way, I hate to change the subject. Did you hear that there was supposedly a rumor that Jon Favreau is ready to leave?
I've heard that, and I'm sad if that's true.
I believe it because what's the point of you have no creative like control of what you're being told to.
Yeah, and based on what I was hearing, he wasn't even supposed to do what he did, but they did it anyway. So I don't know who to believe anymore because it seems like there's a schism going on in between there. Um, and I will let them figure it out. But even, I mean, it all started with Pedro Pascal, and then it went on to Gina Carano, and then it went on to, okay, I lied. The episode 8 of season 2 was 47 minutes. Okay, fine. But it was a two-parter to be fair. Um, so yeah, I mean, and then it all started with that. It all started like there were just a lot of things that I feel like there's something going on at Lucas. I mean, I'm even reading rumors that George is going to be doing the next one. Like, I don't know what they did to kiss ass and get him back. I highly doubt it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then like there were rumors swirling about them rebooting the last three. Like, and I mean, come on, guys. Like, you've already done the damage. Like, what's sad is that the generation of today that watches the original doesn't like it. It's sad. It's really sad. When you hear that because growing up, like you said, Luke was like Luke was the person you were rooting for, and you know, this is what he turned into, a hermit.
Drinking blue cow milk, green cow milk, or whatever.
Yeah, so like I feel like it's like you did the damage already because no, like the generation of now, a lot of the people I talk to that have seen it for the first time in the last 5 years, like like when I say in the first time, like they've seen it in the last within the last 5 years, they are the ones who are like, I don't really like those.
Did you? Yeah, I think we'll. What I probably want to do. I never got a chance to is listen to the Gina Carano interview because a lot of people have probably given their thoughts, but I think there's probably going to be some strange Star Wars news to talk about next week somehow. I have this weird gut feeling, and I think it's interesting because the highlight was that there was a lot of bullying in not bullying, yeah,
Yeah,
bullying in a
kind of
weird
like
way.
similar to Joss Whedon. Yeah, the Josh Whedon news, like it's quite interesting about this bullying in Hollywood that's coming up to the surface
Yeah,
lately.
it's weird. It's very weird, but you know.
Anyway, moving
Anyway,
on. I think we'll have to see March 5th as the final episode of WandaVision, and then we roll into the Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier, which sadly is only 6 episodes. So again, I just feel like I get what these are supposed to meant to be, but a lot of people, I guess, like me, are expecting more. And if that's like, what are they following up Falcon and Winter Soldier with? I think Loki, right? So I just like 6 episodes, like I don't know. The other piece of it is like I don't know if I prefer to binge on it, like with a lot of the Netflix shows where they released all of Jessica Jones and all of the Defenders, like versus every week waiting for it. I actually like the bingeable, but that's just me. Anyway,
mm.
moving on to video games, right?
No,
Oh,
because you forgot the other side of the comic book spectrum, the Warner Brothers universe.
oh,
Soup,
yes.
soups.
There's a lot of news circulating around Warner Brothers besides Ray Fisher, and Joss Whedon, and the Zack Snyder cut. Number one, I'll start with the lesser of the news. Apparently, sources are saying that Amber Heard, for her role in Aquaman 2, is about to lose her role basically because she is quote unquote not fit to play the character. Like, and there's a clause apparently in her contract with them for Aquaman 2 that she needs to maintain a certain weight and a certain, certain like build. And so basically, oh wow. Well, Yahoo News is actually reporting that she was fired, but I heard sources were saying that she's trying to fight back to keep it. But basically, like I said, besides the news that was going on, I think what Warner Brothers was trying to do with this was use the clause in the contract that she's in terrible shape. So, and she didn't pass her physical examination. So it wouldn't, because she's not in shape, she wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stunts and the action things and keep up with the shooting schedule. So, um, so basically, they said that, you know, they basically said like she's probably not going to reprise her role. And this comes at a time when she's been in the news for other things like her legal battles with Johnny Depp. And she was saying that she didn't violate it. She's not right. Like she gained a few pounds because of COVID, because of the situation. She's battling depression, blah blah blah. So it makes sense that they move on. Um, but it's just interesting that they used her weight as the clause.
Oh, that's totally them washing their hands.
Exactly. It's just interesting that they found this clause in her contract around the weight and that like she didn't pass her physical exam. So anyway, I wish I was there to see that. But anyway, the rumors are circulating that they already have someone in their mind to recast the role would be Amelia Clark, who was Daenerys from Game of Thrones and played opposite of Jason Momoa. So that'll be interesting if that's really true. Because I do know they have a really good relationship because they worked together for so long on Game of Thrones. But like I said, it's just interesting that they use this clause. You gotta find that interesting about Hollywood these days. The next bit of information is actually quite interesting to me because it's actually confirmed that J.J. Abrams is doing a Superman reboot.
Jar
Um,
Jar Abrams.
yes, so it's interesting, that it's J.J. Abrams doing a reboot, and they call it reboot. And believe it or not, and I'm going to butcher the name, but Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing the script for this. J.J. Abrams is producing this through his Bad Robot banner. People are speculating because it's not been confirmed, but people are speculating what the hell does this mean for our beloved Henry Cavill Superman?
Michael B. Jordan.
So
Sorry.
it's interesting because they really say it's a reboot of Superman, and we all know what reboot means. Again, they're not necessarily saying goodbye to Cavill because even though they've rebooted Batman so many times, they still are having Ben Affleck, I think, show up in the Flash movie that they're doing. So it's not unheard of to bring Cavill in to be Superman for like snippets. But again, they can always edit him out like they did poor Ruby Rose in the Green Arrow crossover.
Just
Um
died.
they basically know her scenes, they just edited them out. I felt bad because I was like, well, that kind of sucks because she was Batwoman at that time. Why can't you just let her be in the scene? So they took her out of the scenes. Um, but yeah, so it's interesting again. that he's not necessarily confirmed or unconfirmed, but the fact that they're basically rebooting Superman means a lot of things. Um, it could be a totally different Superman that we've never seen before. I think of Steel. Do you remember Steel from the comic?
Ooh, now that we could talk like that, I buy
Yeah,
that.
Steel. Do you remember Steel? It could be the what was the other one?
Well,
Because there are so
yeah, that
many
was
iterations of Superman.
wasn't that the one where they somehow broke Superman into different people?
Exactly, exactly.
Are we gonna have
That's
Shaq?
because they had Superboy.
There was
Um,
Superboy. There were like eight of them, or some six or eight, and Steel was one of them.
yeah,
Now we're talking. Like that actually, I if they go down
yeah.
this direction, because I'll you have some points to finish on this, but I'm just saying we're assuming Henry Cavill, an actor that I've really
I
never
really
appreciated.
enjoyed him as Superman.
I never
Like,
appreciated him, but
and
yeah.
I actually really enjoy him as Witcher. The other thing to mention is that Henry Cavill has potentially other jobs lined up for him besides Witcher and besides Superman that'll
It,
keep him busy. So we'll get into
is
that after this.
well,
But
is his
basically,
sorry,
go ahead.
is his job to say that this is his favorite store on the Citadel?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, we'll get into that, but yeah, let's finish the Superman stuff.
Yeah, so just to wrap up the DC section, because like I said, I am more of a Batman fan. I'm still unsure of what to expect with this Rob Pattinson deal, but especially since, you know, sorry, Rob, you're being bitchy. Like, apparently he's being bitchy on the set, and that he's like, I don't know, he had COVID, so that halted production. And then, like, I don't know, people are saying he's being a little bit whiny, but who knows?
Sorry,
Um,
I wasn't laughing that he got COVID. I was laughing that
he was
the
being
way.
bitchy.
No,
Anyway,
yeah, sorry, the way that
anyway,
yeah.
so if you recall in the comics, Superman died, right? Doomsday killed him. Um, so basically I remember, and I'm trying to remember, but it's like the reign of Superman saw four Supermen, right? And I think Steel was one of them, or what Man of Steel was one of them. And I think who the heck were the other ones? Now I'm gonna have to look it up as I talk to you guys. But basically, like they like you said, they split up Superman into four different Superman aspects of himself. Which was kind of like a cop out if you think about it, because like he freaking dies and then like he like is reborn anyway
Again, like
again.
everything.
So if you think about it, um there are four different Superman, which I think they could go this route, honestly, or it could be like, it could be Steel, who was I think his name was John Henry Irons. So I'm on Wikipedia. His name is John Henry Irons, and he wielded a sledgehammer.
Yep.
And he was a genius engineer who built a mechanized suit of armor that replicates Superman's powers. So, like I said, if they could go this route. They could go. So if I go to, like, who else? Like, there was, like, Steel is the one that comes to my mind because Shaquille O'Neal played him in the movie. um,
He's a strangely you see he's a larger than life personality. If you're
doesn't
folks
even
who know
know.
sports, he's a larger than life personality that he just he's like what was the Shaq Fu, that all that
Yeah,
stuff.
he was. Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyway, I think of him as Shazam. Like he was not Shazam like Shazam, but like Shazam like the genie. Shazam. Anyway, so I just think that there could be multiple Supermen that they could source the material from. I was thinking of Superboy too, because they could skew younger and go Superboy, because just because like it's Superman doesn't mean they could go Superboy. Um, so yeah. Um, like I said, it'll be interesting. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Uh, when I heard the name of said author, screenwriter, how look, I was just actually looking him up. Hold up, Te, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yep.
The reason why that name sounded so familiar was because uh, your boy Zach on YouTube, also known as Richard Meyer, he did he did a bunch of reviews on his comic, and his comic run was of Captain America. So I'm looking at some of it. He's obviously a author and a book on books too, but the did a bit of Black Panther, but Zach was doing the critique of Captain America, and yeah, you just Captain America's not the Captain America you know and love. It's this. It just it just fits the narrative of what Marvel Disney wants to go down. But when you said Steel, I said actually this may work.
Yeah,
So
because it could be well, because like I said, so it's Superboy, Cyborg, Superman, Steel, and I think the last one was the Eradicator. I don't know. I'm trying to find the name. The two I can remember are Superboy and Steel.
So if you
So
did Steel, you could do like this semi Black Panther vibe, but not necessarily because it just feels like you don't get this author unless you're going to go down that route. So
yeah,
instead of making Cal L Michael B. Jordan, just make Michael B. Jordan John Henry.
yeah,
The
yeah,
aftermath of the aftermath of Superman
dying, right?
dying or whatever. You could do the injustice line where he was tricked by the Joker to kill Lois Lane and his pregnant child, and he wants to go nuts. So I don't know. That'd be great if they did that. But
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see um like where it goes because there's some source material there to work with that a reboot to say is like could be a different version of Superman the way they're doing Batman. It's a different version of Batman. So yeah, like I said, there's hope for it. It's just a matter of like how they execute the plan.
hey, if they want to do Kal El, if he does, and he actually just gets the essence of Kal El without, I don't know, making it Hollywood agenda ish, I'd be for it. I would like that too, but my sense is you don't get that author unless you want to go down that road. So if you're
Yeah,
going to go down that road, go with John Henry. This will actually be interesting. And
yeah,
cast
exactly.
Michael B. Jordan because that remember the rumor was they were going to have Michael B. Jordan.
Yep,
Put,
no, you're right, because they literally were talking to him to be in a DC movie. Um, and he's the right age to bring in where he's not too old or too young, like for the role. Unless, like I said, they go the Superboy vein and try to do something similar to like Spider-Man, where you go and like it's a younger, youthful cast kind of thing. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it could be like it could be a Michael B. Jordan thing, like, or it could be the next, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Like, this could be that breakout film if they go that route. So again, it'll be um it'll be interesting to see what's happening. But this is a perfect segue for the Henry Cavill piece. So it's not that he isn't getting a lot of work because, there's a lot of rumors, a buzz. So he does have a lot of work with The Witcher. He did actually get injured on the set, and they had to like delay some of his scenes. But the rumor has it, and it's a lot of places actually like um online because he's kind of it's interesting because you and I both know he likes to build computers.
Yep.
And clearly because if you build a computer the way he's doing it, you're gaming. You know what I mean? So he actually was on Instagram and he posted like a reference to a new project. Like he kind of called it like a secret project or just a handful of paper with random words on it. And he's like, guess you'll have to wait and see. And, a lot of places used like software to get rid of the blurry text. And again, this is just hearsay at this point, but they used they unblurred the images on the text that he posted. And some of the words were Cerebus, Reaper, Geth, and
Oh,
Talizora. Okay? Like those are like specific words related to Mass Effect, which I know how much you love this series, and I love Mass Effect 2 so much too. But I just thought it was funny because we all knew that there was something in production for Mass Effect. It makes perfect sense that, Mass Effect would be made into a movie. It's to me, the perfect space opera. Um, I truly enjoy that game. The worlds on that game, the interplanetary stuff, like it just was the perfect space opera. And the lead character that you play in the game is Shepard. So everyone is thinking that Henry Cavill is going to be playing the lead character for Shepard. So it's going to be interesting to see if I'm guessing it's going to be a trilogy. I mean, the game is a trilogy, so um it would be great. And then, him playing Commander Shepard would be awesome. I could see him.
ooh,
Um,
wait, ooh, wait, is that your Commander Shepard?
no, my Commander Shepard is a female Shepard, but I could totally see the male Shepard being him. And I really hope it is if it's true.
What if he's
Um,
Garrus?
huh?
What if he's Garrus?
No, he can't be Garrus. That would be such a waste. That would be such a waste. He's got to be like a tough dude. I just think it would be perfect because I think he's like a true gamer to build a computer the way he did, um, on Instagram.
No,
Um,
he totally. It's not his first rodeo, by the way. That building of the computer, just for simply it's not like his first rodeo. It's not like some random like star pretending to fraud out like what's her name, Brie Larson. She did actually. It's not just Brie Larson. It's other the people like politicians saying, "Here's my Animal Crossing island." Sorry, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that no, he's legit.
No, and like I see the script, so I'm on Instagram now and I see the script, but it's really blurry. So like they need to like really everyone thinks it's Witcher 2, which is true. I mean, he is wearing his Witcher garb. I mean, that would only make sense. But if he for him to say secret, like I'm kind of like, well, he's not really wearing. Yeah, he's like in his Witcher like hair, but like I don't know. It's just interesting that people tried to unblur this piece of paper here. I can't even make out words like Cerebus and crap like that. Oh, actually, if you kind of make out a word beginning with a C, but that's taking it a little too far. So anyway, um, I digress because, like I said, I think he'd be awesome as Shepherd. I think I that's what I think, but it could go either way. I want to know who's going to play everyone else. Like that whole cast is going to be like you have to have. Is it Oh my God, call it? So there's Garrus, there's Rex,
Miranda has
there's
to be played by
Miranda.
Miranda has to be played by Yvonne, whatever
I
Strahovski.
know that would be like terrible if it's not. And then Ashley and Caden and oh my God, there's just so many like of
There's
the
too
beloved.
many characters.
Yeah, there's
This
too many.
honestly has to be like Witcher. It has to be a show.
Yeah, and I hope it is. Like I don't know if
It,
it's like, is it a movie or is it a TV show?
it has to be a show because you've got the thing about Mass Effect is that the characters. It's about the character that you go on this journey with,
Oh,
and for
actually,
you to
yeah,
yeah,
it is it is a TV series.
it
Yeah,
really is. And he's done it with The Witcher. So quite frankly, he's cool with doing stuff like that. I hey, they've been saying they were going to have a Mass Effect project of sorts. They were saying it was supposed to be a prequel related to the sort of the first Contact War, which is the God, I forgot their name. The Garruses. The the God damn
I know. What the heck
that
are they
alien
called?
species. Ah,
Yes, I know. What the heck are they called? I have a little pop doll too. I can't
jeez,
remember.
damn it.
Oh,
Fraud. I'm such a fraud for me to forget them. Um, but yeah, that's what they were supposedly. Let's see. Natalie Dormer. Oh, I didn't realize Dr. Lexi Tapera was Natalie Dormer. Oh,
oh, I know
I
that.
did not know that. Martin Sheen was the elusive man. I knew that.
Yeah.
I don't really know who Keith David is. Forgive me. Captain Anderson, but Captain Anderson's voice was very familiar, so I've probably seen Keith David somewhere. And then yes, Yvonne was Miranda.
Yep.
Um, Shepard was a. See, the thing about it is like, how do you deal with something where Shepard was you?
I
That's the difference of why Mass Effect is so much better than Andromeda. I never felt like I was Ryder, let alone the cast of characters were not that memorable. It's like your drag. If I go to Dragon Age, is that your main character?
well, I'm not
Dragon Age?
gonna take the TV series like that. The game I do, but the TV series is different. It's like basically bringing the world to TV. But you have to have Shepard either way. Whatever Mass Effect you do, you have to have Commander Shepard.
But
Like
why not female Shepard? I mean,
you
it's just
could. I mean, I'm fine with that too.
I
I
even
just
like that's the Shepherd. That's the one like thing where I'm okay with it being female Shepherd. I'm just being an ass, but I'm fine.
I
I'm
could see
happy if
both,
it's made that way.
honestly. I could totally see both. I'm fine with both. If it's Cavill, it's fine. If it's, if it's someone else, eat fine. I mean, and they just need to be a kick-ass person. That's all.
Hmm.
So that is that. And then lastly, before we close, we didn't get a chance last week to talk about, and I know we're over, but just real quick, your thoughts on the Mortal Kombat trailer because the movie is
Oh,
coming out soon.
I would like to know who this main character is, because no, it's just seriously they're teasing they could be Reptile, but they're I
No,
think it's
isn't
a
it Cole? Isn't it Cole? Or hold on, I'm gonna look it up because
yeah,
I
some guy named Cole. It's fine.
it's
I feel
secret. It's top secret because he has like the tattoo of the Mortal Kombat on there.
I think it's such a fascinating thing to go with. It's not like you're not following Liu Kang's story. You're not following the three of them story. It's just you're following this third. You're like it's almost like I'm seeing it through the eyes of a third person. That's
Yeah.
not one of the characters I like. I'm kind of worried because I thought when they said finish him, I thought Sonya Blade was going to die. Um, eh, this could be Game of Thrones, where I don't know who's going to live or die.
Yeah, you're right about
This is
that.
consequences. There's a consequence. If you get like they had Jack's getting his arms ripped off.
Oh
That was
my
actually
God.
interesting because I think the canon was that Jax lost his arms to Ermac.
Was
Ripping them
it? Because
off.
I'm gonna ask Sirius after this because if there's Mortal Kombat mythos, he would know.
Well, this
But
is the thing, right? So they went through all of this, right? And then they resetted it with Mortal Kombat 9.
yeah,
And Mortal Kombat 9 is the game canon, if I recall. Whether or not what oh yeah, then there's Mortal Kombat 11. They also went back in time. So you're
Yeah.
right. I have no idea what the continuum canon is.
Yeah, because technically this Sub-Zero in here, I think Sirius was the one who told me the Sub-Zero in the second Mortal Kombat movie, if you remember back in the day when they had the theme song, that was the brother of the first Sub-Zero, and that was the Sub-Zero that killed Liu Kang's brother or something. I don't know. Either way, like there's definitely yeah, there's definitely like they've changed the backstory so much that I think they could in theory change up a lot of things because we don't even know like is this Sub-Zero the Sub-Zero yeah, which Sub-Zero is this? Yeah, Cole Young, like I the person who's missing in here is Johnny Cage.
Oh, he was
I
there. He was like
I
there.
believe that Cole Young is related to him. That's the only thing I could think of that linked him to this tournament. But then I thought that Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade had a daughter in the Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
game.
yeah, they have a daughter in the game. That's why
Yeah,
I'm saying the movie is different. You're right. It's the same principle. You just scolded me on with the Mass Effect. It's the game is different than the movie, so
yeah,
fine.
yeah. So I mean, as long as you get, like you said, I think you said it well. If you can get the essence of the character, like for me, if they can get the essence of who Shepard is, like then and have that fine balance of oh my god, Renegade versus what's the other one?
Yeah, that's a
I never was.
Paragon. Yeah, how are we gonna do this? Am
Paragon.
I gonna get a
If they
Paragon
find the
Shepard?
right balance of Renegade and Paragon into this essence of Shepard, that's fine. They can cast whoever they want. Like, I just think the person needs to be like a very strong person, like for the role, because that's like everyone is a shepherd in their own way. So, like, you have a vision for your shepherd, and that person just has to capture the essence of it. So
Mm.
anyway, that I will leave it there, but I'm excited for the Mass Effect TV show or movie or whatever it will be. I'm very excited if it is Henry Cavill or if it isn't. I hope they choose someone who can carry the weight of the show because, like, it's like to me, it's not like Firefly. Although Firefly could be serious at times, like when people like died, but like there were funny moments of Firefly because I was thinking like it's not like Uncharted, like it's not like there's like funny parts of it, but like Mass Effect to me is a space opera. It is like legit a space opera and they should treat the tone of it that way. Like that's the only thing. It's like a space war, space opera, these alien creatures, like and the other alien creatures. Like there's so many alien creatures in this thing. Like the makeup itself is going to be interesting. So yeah,
Yeah. Quick hits. One. Rest in peace, Sony Japan. Uh, the Sony Japan has closed or consolidated their Japanese. I don't want to call them a studio, but their I guess publishing arm. So things like Gravity Rush and classics like Legend of Dragoon. As Sony continues their march to globalization and international focus, and less of a shift, more of a shift away from Japan. So Sony's not Japanese as much anymore. So rest in peace. Uh, I think that's a good way to just end it there.
yeah.
Final thoughts. I mean, Sony is not Japanese anymore.
Well, they said that, right? They were going to focus on the US market. So I have to say kudos to them because they're really putting the effort, like they're putting their foot down where they want to be and they're actually doing something different. It will be interesting to see how this ends up being in the video game wars, if you will. I mean, Stadia kind of stepped out Google Stadia stepped out,
Semi-step.
or
Yeah.
semi stepped out. You still have Nintendo, which is very strong across like a certain demographic, and I think will always be. But it's literally always been between Xbox and Sony, and who's going to bring the latest technology to the forefront, or the latest, um, not even technology, but like ways to play. How do you make it relevant wherever you are? That's the next thing. So,
Oh, Sony has announced, by the way, that they're moving some of their first party games to PC. So to your point, Sony's actually getting looking into that, right? To expand
yeah.
where people can play their games, and it's not this world where it's a console specifically anymore. But
Yeah, exactly. It's like where can you take it with you, and how can you, like you said, I think you were going to tell us too that Xbox Game Pass, which I'm mad at right now, is testing um 1080. Is that what it is?
1080 on streaming, so I didn't realize it was 720 on like your phone, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, if, like you have a phone like a Galaxy S21 Ultra,
Ultra.
for example, you're not getting 1080p unless they do that. So you know what? From the Microsoft that rumor, that's cool because Stadia supposedly does 1080p streaming. It's just that Stadia, I think, for example, Stadia has shut down their first party. That's death knell because you're there's no reason to be on that platform. It doesn't have to be a box per se, but for me to sign up for that service, number one, I think the one problem they did was Destiny was separated. So for me
Yeah.
to play Destiny on Stadia, I'd have to start from scratch. I can't bring my. I could be wrong, but I thought you.
Crossplay. Yeah, like, and who wants to do that? I'm sorry.
And yeah, and then obviously not having its own content like a Netflix or Hulu where they have their own content or Disney Plus. There's no reason to be on that platform when Microsoft has the ability to play things like Destiny, but you could go across your cross save account. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the day Sony jumps on that bandwagon because I'm going to be honest with you. I think I'm entrenched in Microsoft only because they have most of my third party platform, third parties, and you know what, I just want to play without having to buy a $600 box. And PlayStation 5, great hardware, but I can't have a box that's going to sit there and collect dust until the next Final Fantasy exclusive is there or God of War. And
Yeah.
by the way, if they bring it to PC, I'd be happy. But that's all for today. I think it's a good way to segue to the end. So with that said, hope you enjoyed the show. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications as we come content. Also, we're on Twitter at Justice Sit, so please reach out to us. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll see you on the Sit side. Later.
Bye.